ones, if we was able to
Well, I
hook onto
know,
a
Ian's
6-inch
hooked
line
into
than
a 3/4 inch
than a
line.
3/4, and that's what, so we're all doing 3/4 inch line.
And that line ties into the main line.
Why are you having to have a water line engineer?
That's just what Montana
It's a-
Rural Water wanted. And the DEQ, I mean, that was their.
If you're in city services and you're tying into the main line, you guys can do that in the city limits. That is perfectly your right.
Well,
Okay,
that's kind of what I thought, but then when they started talking about engineers, because
You're
I know
not,
for
you're
a
not
fact-
doing the main line. You're
Yeah.
tying in the service.
no, it isn't.
No.
no, it's not.
Oh,
They're
you're
running
gonna
new.
put a
Yes,
main line in,
yes, sir.
then yes. you
We have
to
an
it.
8-inch line.
Yeah.
All the stuff has been bought to put in an 8-inch line, to run that line all the way down Carbon Street, and then at the end there, before the ditch, put in a fire hydrant.
I mean,
Everything's been bought to do.
No matter where the line goes, they want it engineered? Is that what I'm hearing?
pretty much.
That's what they're saying.
Anytime you do a major infrastructure, and the reason I know is I used to be the public works director here
Yeah.
in Bromberg.
Gotcha.
Anytime you do a main line, whether it be sewer line or water line, they've got you by the short hairs because they make you have it engineered. It's ridiculous.
It would have been great to know about a year and a half ago.
It's
Yes, I
ridiculous.
agree.
And as far as compaction, why won't the dirt pass compaction?
That's an easy meet, just bringing different material.
Well, but why won't the dirt be? Usually dirt won't back compaction because it's dry. You add water to it and it compacts.
Then don't worry about the road
Too
from
much
our
sand in is
property
what
past
the county
Ian's
guy was
house.
thinking.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Cause that's shallow enough, push the
Yeah, he come
dirt,
up there and
engineer the water line, put
dug
the road
a,
in
you
front
know,
of our
brought a
house.
shovel,
call it
dug a
good.
little hole, you know.
That's-
We kinda looked at the dirt bank
They don't
where
really
he's
want the
got
road
it
to go all
cut
the way through
down
anyway.
at the layers. And I mean, you gotta get down probably 4
I need
feet
to know
before you
where
get into
where the
anything
heck
with rock
we're
in
at
it.
with this on
And I
Tim on
mean-
water.
You
We've
don't
got
need-
60,
I know.
$70,000
I mean, his deal was just
right
cutting
now.
the
Already.
top
Already.
3 feet of what
Concrete.
looks like sandy
And I've been
topsoil
to these
and trying
meetings
to pack it in.
asking about
I
this
would-
water.
I
and
just
Trying to
everything.
pack it in the
Found
hole.
out
Can we
today.
have one person talk at a time? Sorry.
Okay, hold on.
Thank you.
Let's just wait, everybody here.
Yeah.
I found out today about that we're gonna need it engineered.
Mhm.
And I don't have a solution for it right yet. I'll tell you, when we looked at the sewer line, and then we brought in the engineers, it went from $110,000 to $530,000. So, we're looking at a main line on a water line that's 1 block long.
Mhm.
We have everything to do it with, other than it's not engineered.
Mhm.
So now we gotta find out from an engineer what it's gonna cost to engineer it. So we can get that done.
How quickly can we get that done, Carol?
I am gonna, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I wanna look at some different engineers. I know there's some engineers that deal with small towns over in Columbus.
Yeah.
I would like to get over and visit with them and see.
So the question, do they have to? You have to run a main line to get them water?
We have water.
Yeah.
At a
That's
snail's
right. Tie into
pace.
somebody
No,
else's
it's
line.
A main line.
Yeah, we're not.
It's a piggyback.
Right.
We're piggyback off of possibly up to 4 different people.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, they did it a lot here.
The only other thing we would do is, it would be looking at doing it twice if we're 3 times, depending on,
If you got a road that's going through there, you've got easements on either side of the road.
yes.
You can, theoretically, you can tie into the main line up there and bring it right down through the easement. of
We
the
could
road.
tie in a 2-inch line, dig a trench and come down through there.
Right,
Yeah,
and it wouldn't have to be engineered,
and it would be technically a service.
and it would be
Other
a service.
than just doing it. And which I thought that's kind of what we could do with the 8-inch line, but that's not the case.
No, unfortunately, anything on a main line like that, you have to do it. But they've run, there's lines all over, I can show you several places that are on.
Well, and even that line is not marked anywhere. I mean, it took Jay a long time to, and it's deep. I know he dug out there and it's about 12 feet deep down there.
Which the town doesn't have the capacity to go that. Right?
Not really, not
Not
that.
really.
Yeah, it's
no.
pretty tough.
No.
We'd have to rent a backhoe to come in and do that.
Well, if we're gonna do that main line, we'd need a backhoe, sheep's
To dig
foot for
it in.
compaction, or not a backhoe, a
This-
trackhoe.
we need to just kinda just table this, so we need to figure out what we're looking at as a plan instead of
Which we
trying to
understand,
come up with
honestly,
a-
but you also have to see our side, as we started this a year and a half ago.
We
In good
table it
faith,
every
we
month.
started putting a house there,
Yeah, I know,
and
They're well ahead
now
of
we're
us
basically
on
being
the-
told it could be, we don't know how much longer.
I know.
I mean, and we're supplying a camper
The
with no water
object is we
pressure.
wanna be in that house before winter comes, and
It'd
we
be nice
gotta
for
have
you to some
water.
water.
We
So
got
the
it.
way I look at it is they've done their due diligence to bring their house up to every standard we ask and meet, and we're not meeting our end of the bargain.
Exactly.
That's where I stand.
And we understand that that takes time, so which is why we've just nonchalantly come to every now and then a town meeting to check up on where we're at.
See where.
And now we're,
Now we're finding
I
it.
guess,
We're
and I
getting the
shouldn't
same
say year and a
answers.
half, we're over a year. I apologize, I'm exaggerating that a little bit. That's a year and a month, 2 months.
Yes, Jerry,
Jerry, is there any way they can come down from that alley where Jim and Aggie used to live up there, the water line? I go right into the place. Cause isn't that a road alley?
that is the road that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they were talking about.
I thought they was coming up
So at
there.
this stage, we know that we just kinda need to table it, we know that, we just wanna express our frustrations that if, the sooner the better, obviously, because, again, we're by the short hairs, it's not like we can stop. It's not like we can walk away from
You
it.
guys got a foundation sitting, correct?
We got a slab, we got wood going up.
Okay.
Floor joist going tomorrow.
So they're
It's on
building.
us.
It's on us to get it done.
It's not you, that's us.
No, I know, I'm saying,
They're the only ones
You
on
get
this
it.
water line?
No,
No.
it wouldn't be,
You would have avances before them, but avances are fed off the main coming out.
coming off there.
So there's nobody that went, or no, you still got Billy's Alley at the very end, so there's that, but that was fed off of a slight feed.
So all that water comes up from where Ian's at. Their
Yes.
water line comes, splits off to them, from what we've been able to find so far. And then we split off of them to come over to our property.
So in my mind, right there, you got Guffey's place on the corner. How hard is it to bring a T, send a feed?
Guffey's place is coming off of the main line. There's no water line going down Billy's Alley.
Yeah,
No,
there
but there
is
could
none.
be.
Like, I don't believe there is. Like, I
There
no, he's
is.
saying there
No.
could be.
But why couldn't we run it
No,
there?
that's what I'm saying. We pipe it right down there and
Yeah.
the worst thing we do is
2
fix a
inches.
road that they gotta drive down that is a dirt trail at best. 50% of the year, tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, you'd get lots of praise from Avances and Duffy's if you guys fix that
Dig it up.
road.
It
Yeah.
gives
We
water.
was gonna do it ourselves.
That's a go trail
We
at
get
best.
water, I'm putting asphalt in there on my own if I have to, or not asphalt, but the crushed, or
A
the
good
road
road,
mills,
a good road.
just something, but
I'll run skid steer
I've
for you
asked-
on that. That's gross.
I've
That
asked
road is
that
horrible.
we gotta fix that drainage.
Okay, we need to
Anyways,
move on.
yes.
Yes, I agree.
And
It's the city's responsibility to get you some water.
It is, but it also, we were also, that doesn't necessarily take care of the road, which was also stated that was gonna be
Yeah.
there, so. Put that,
So,
and do with that.
putting in a
what you will.
2-inch or a 3-inch line through there without having to have it
Go as big as you
engineered
can legally.
legally is a way better prospect than having to get it engineered to put in a main line.
Well, the way I see it, how it's been going and what's going in until the town can get on its feet a little bit more. That water line's or the fire hydrant and stuff until you can get some grants or something to prove that that's for safety or whatever, how that water line probably isn't gonna be going in for a while if it has to be engineered. That's a lot of money.
That's very
You're
true.
right.
That is true.
And I can get
And the other
that.
option with the smaller line, other than redundant work, digging a trench is whatever.
Well, I look at it as if you have to dig the trench twice, if once you get the funding or you get the money, then that's where we're at. But
Yeah.
you get access, if the
Well, and
people
this
buy
is-
them lots, or the owners of that have the other lots above us decide to do something, you're gonna be in the same boat with them that
Oh, yeah.
and they're.
None of them have good water pressure.
They don't
2 or
have
3
any.
houses that you guys are on, and Sam's the same way, so.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks for your time.
But it'd be nice to get that whole corner straightened out and fixed.
Yeah,
If we don't have it fixed with a main line, then we can try to get something else done.
Okay,
Mark and I will sit down and we'll get this figured out.
I appreciate it.
Let us know.
Yeah, and if there's something we can do, then,
Because I just,
I'll-
like I say, just found out today,
and that's,
and it's just like,
Yep.
One step forward, two backwards, at every turn.
It's gospel.
Feel
All right.
there.
Well, move on, there's a lot of other people. that-
Okay.
So, appreciate your time.
You bet, thank
See
you.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Change it.
Well, Mark, if you'd kinda make a note.
Yeah,
Something different to do there.
I mean, if you wanna come off, we could come down Carbon Avenue, I mean, I still don't think that backhoe's probably the best one for digging that long.
We'll
But
have
we
to
could
ramp
come
up.
down Carbon Avenue with a 2-inch line, tee in just behind the fire hydrant there, and just come down and then feed them services off of that without engineering it, correct? As long as we were,
How many services you talking?
it'd just be, well, for them, just one.
Are
I
you
mean-
planning on future line, putting into the tying into this line?
Well,
I
future
think
lines
future
would be
would
the main line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then I would run them at least 1.5 or 2-inch line.
well, that's what I was
And you can
thinking.
do that without having it engineered.
Yeah, a 2-inch service to them.
Can you go larger than that?
and we'll,
And you're getting in, no.
No, cause then you're getting in the main line.
Yeah,
You're getting in the
exactly.
main line, 4 inches.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
next size up would be 4 inch, and then you're getting into a main line.
Mhm.
Can you get 3-inch?
Well, no, I take that back, yes, you can, but you might as well pay for the 4-inch or 5-6-inch line.
Hit
by
that
the time
point,
you
yeah,
get
you're,
to 3
you're
inches.
a
It's an
step over a
oddball
bunch of
size.
dollar bills.
So your fittings are gonna be
Mhm.
tremendously special
You
order.
stepped over a
Okay.
bunch.
yeah. So this is just a short-term fix for the long-term problem.
Right. And like the county guys also said, you know, if we come in there and cut 3-4 feet out of that road, the neighbor to the south is gonna have their fence, have a straight ditch cut, their fence will be 5 foot higher than the road. You know, the bottom of their fence will be 5 foot higher than the road. So I mean, it's not just impacting them, you know, they're talking about hauling in pit run, hauling the dirt out, and it was quite an ordeal they were talking about, and it was gonna be $100,000 or better.
Yeah, and we don't have that money, so. Okay. Anything else for public comment? Not on the agenda. Harley, did you have anything that needed to be brought up? Okay.
I just out of curiosity, I'd like to know that, I'm Elton Curtis. I would like to know how things are going with the flood fixer-upper stuff on the bridge and also at 3rd Avenue and maybe at Bell.
With the flood stuff on 3rd Avenue and the other stuff has been put on hold. We had an agreement all worked out with all the agencies involved. And then the Forest Service backed out, said they wouldn't support it, removing the rock and the woody debris. So that is on hold until they can figure out what they're gonna do. Of course, they waited till after the water went down. On the 17th, I am gonna go talk with the county and the Conservation District to go over the plans for the bridge in Harding Net River. We're gonna discuss the final plans on that on the 17th. As far as I know, there's still a completion date of 1 November.
Did the Forest Service give any reasoning for what they did?
They said the fish habitat has adapted to their new habitat.
They can adapt.
They could adapt again.
Yeah.
Agencies well
I,
above, that's agencies well above
How
us,
did
right?
they get so damn powerful?
It's well above us.
We've allowed it, and it's just something that they have to sign off on now in order for it to go through.
This is nice.
Well above us.
So, there's nothing I can do. I've raised Cain, I've talked to everybody I
I
can
mean,
talk to.
speak frustrations all we want, but I mean, that's an agency supersedes us tremendously. And yeah, frustrations are heavy.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah, and it would have been different if they would have, you know, when they agreed to it, if we'd have had us a couple $1 million on hand to where we could have just said, we'll pay for it, go in and get it done. Money's always an issue. So when the government pays for it, you gotta follow the government rules. And that's where we're at.
We got any grants coming for it, we're trying to get?
We've been trying to get grants, yes, and the Conservation District awarded a grant to us. However, we as a small town could not afford that grant, so I turned it over to the county with same word for word, other than instead of it saying Fromberg, it says Carbon County. And they paid the fees up front, and that's what we're working on to get the river hardened and hopefully get the rock out from underneath the bridge.
Okay.
That's where we're at with that.
Is there any possibility that that quagmire can be removed so that it can be actually accomplished by November 1?
You know, anything is possible, given time and enough money. And if they've got the right equipment, it can be done. You know, if they get the big enough equipment in there to do the job, then it can be accomplished. So, we have anything else? Okay, let's move on. Let's approve the minutes for July 11th, 2023 meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from 7/11/23.
No second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for July 11th, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
July 24th, 2023 special meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from 7/24/23 special meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve July 24th, 2023 special meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims for July 2023.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims for 07/23. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the payroll summary.
Make a motion to approve the payroll summary for July 2023.
And I'll second that as well.
We have a motion and a second to approve the payroll summary for 07/23. All in favor?
Aye.
New business. Final reading of ordinance 526. Ordinance number 526, an ordinance of the town council to amend the date of town council meetings. Whereas the town of Fromberg has currently scheduled town council meetings to be held on the second Tuesday of each month, starting at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, pursuant to an ordinance and a resolution. And whereas the town of Fromberg hereby desires to amend the date and time currently scheduled for town council meetings to be hereafter held on the second Monday of each month, starting at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Fromberg, Montana as follows. Town Council meetings shall be held on the second Monday of each month, starting at 7 p.m. at Town Hall.
I make a motion to approve, well, do we?
We
I'm gonna
have
wait for
some-
public
Yeah.
comment.
We have public comment.
Anybody?
Do you have anything you would like to say about this?
Why are you moving it back?
So that our attorney can come to our town council meetings.
Why did you leave it, I guess, is my
What,
question.
what's that?
Why did you quit? It was on the second Monday of every month.
It met our previous regime on legal counsel, and then we didn't have that legal counsel anymore. Now we're in bed with the same attorney that runs Red Lodge, so that's the only reason. So in this meeting, you're not just hearing it from us, you get legal counsel. That was trying to give the people what they will ask for, was the sole reason. There's nothing else,
Yeah.
no hidden agenda.
Okay. The main reason, just have the attorney here.
Is that the only attorney that you've had apply to help the city or work for the city?
We have
That's the
three most qualified. He was
That's the one we
definitely
chose.
far and above the most qualified compared to the others. I mean, if he's gonna run our goddamn county seat, I mean, I feel that it's pretty pretty solid name.
Okay.
Out of what?
He was the
put
best
in-
attorney for the position when we looked at it, so. Any other questions? Okay,
Make a motion to approve ordinance 526.
I'll second the ordinance 526.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance number 526. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay, so it's passed. Okay. Resolution 521. Resolution number 521. A resolution of the town council notifying the Carbon County Administrator of the town's desire to conduct the 2023 general election by mail ballot in accordance with section 13-19-202 of the Montana Code annotated. Whereas Montana law provides a method for conducting mail ballot elections for local elections, and whereas mail ballot elections are less expensive and yield a higher voter turnout. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Fromberg, Montana, as follows. The Town of Fromberg hereby notifies the Carbon County Election Administrator of the town's desire to conduct the 2023 general elections by mail ballot in accordance with MCA 13-19-202. Do we have any public comment on that?
The votes are gonna be by mail only?
By mail only?
Yeah.
They can't have a place to vote here in the city hall?
No. This will be by mail only. So if you're registered to vote, you'll get your ballot in the mail and fill it out and send it in.
Okay.
Any questions from you guys?
Nope.
Okay.
When is this supposed to happen?
It'll be during the regular November
November?
3rd or 7th or something like that. Well, send them out early. And everybody will have a chance to get them in.
It'll have the names that are
Yep.
running for it.
Yep.
So you're not gonna replace the other council member until that ballot comes out?
No, actually, that position is not up for ballot,
That'll be appointed by council.
and we'll have to appoint that by council.
Thought you already did that.
He, actually, that's something that we're gonna talk about when I get down to the mayor's position about that. So, do we have anything else? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 521.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 521. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay? Okay.
And the only stipulation is I feel that should have been both. That you should be able to come in, if there's a ballot running, I feel that you should come in phase, or if you wanna do it out. That's my only stipulation on that, so. And I know that it costs money, I fully get, running a ballot is not cheap.
County won't hardly let you have a regular election.
And yeah, it's almost impossible. So that was just my piece on that, so.
You're entitled to your vote.
Yep,
That's good,
exactly.
thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Nate.
FEMA ballpark. We have down here on the FEMA project for the ballpark. Our city parks. They designated $139,973 to be used on the parks. The town is responsible for 25% of that. And we would have to spend the money first, and then FEMA reimburses you that money. Plus you have to manage it. So, personally, FEMA has done nothing but cost us money. But it's up to you guys on the council here to decide what you wanna do with it. I know Tammy has some things she'd like to bring up about it. Well, go ahead.
Tammy Taylor, just a little clarification. That 139,000 is not for all ballparks. If you look through, the only thing I did was take the FEMA deal and break down what your cost was for ballparks. And part of the deal was not completed because I didn't have the authority to go ahead and complete it. I had talked to a guy on the ballpark because they had asked for the 8 inches of ball field mix. When I talked to that gentleman in Colorado, he said this is fairly common. FEMA will tell you they want you to do da-da-da-da-da, and you have to get hardball and talk to these guys and communicate with them. And a lot of times you can come up with a different deal. He'd made the recommendation of just going with fill dirt, if that's kind of what we had on it before. He thought that there might be an issue. The reason that they wanted the 8 inches is because they might have felt it was contaminated and they wanted that on there. But, you know, I get the point. I kind of went through the paperwork and I get the point that you have to come up with the deal. But my only qualm is if you're gonna do, I guess I was very upset. Somebody asked me to take this on. I did it. It took me 20 hours of making phone calls to people, trying to get bids on stuff, and not once was I contacted with, we're not going to do this until it's all done. And I kind of feel that that's pretty rude and disrespectful. I mean, if that was the whole thought to begin with, I shouldn't have been asked to do it. I did it on my own free time. And I guess the other deal is I've had other people that are business and stuff, and they go, well, you know, some of this FEMA stuff, if you go down there and you roll your own sod, and you take into the effect of that, FEMA counts those hours, if you have volunteers doing it, as manpower, and, you know, it's part of the bill there. You have volunteers doing that. So, I guess somebody said to me, well, is this business or isn't it business? You know, do you just toss it at the side? And a true business person would have went after the grant to get the deal to finish the FEMA deal. So, you know, I'm sure you'll kick it down the road at this point in time because it's pretty late to complete it. But when you ask me to do something like that, have the decency to pick up the phone.
Well, how much cost was it gonna involve? What's gonna be our cost? And we'd have to have a manager to manage it, because
Well, then why did you ask for somebody to do it to begin with?
well, because when you do that, then you figure out what our costs are gonna be.
You asked me to figure the park costs. I did that. I told you I wouldn't do the other part. You asked me to figure the park costs. I did that, Tim, and you didn't even read it, did you?
Yes?
Today.
Yeah.
Not before, not a couple months before.
Well, so I shouldn't have asked you to do it.
Well, be honest. Don't ask somebody to do it and not look at it. And don't ask somebody to do it when you decide not to do it and not have the decency to pick up the phone.
Well, the decision is being made now whether we're gonna do it or not gonna do it.
It's because the decision is being made because I brought it up to the council at last month's meeting. Had I not brought it up, it wouldn't even have made the agenda.
No,
Yeah.
but if you were asked, never mind, it's all right. I understand. Okay. We're gonna move on. You guys wanna do something with the ballpark?
Well, I'm gonna speak freely, 110% freely on this, is that, and not home team, because I work for the company, Stillwater gave us $25,000 that was for the greater good of the community, and it was for the people, not just the people on the east side. It was not that. Okay, so we got a few things we crutch on in this community. We got a baseball park, and we got a city park, that's about it, and we got our football field. And that's on her, like, I'm sorry, I'm bringing you this. But at the end of the day, when you look at what fields that we're truly playing on, and I'm speaking because I haven't played a game this season, but previously me and his son rejuvenated this. Like when we started that, like it was when he left, that ballpark was in great shape. Sorry, I'm bringing you into this as well. That ballpark was in great shape. It went into shambles for 3 years. I spent 2 weeks of my life with the fuel out of my pocket, the machinery out of my pocket, to bring that back online so we could have a field back here again. Because to me, it burned my shoulders putting on the maroon wearing Bridger. And I was like, sorry, I'm a home teamer. Like, there's a reason I'm sitting behind this table. I'm a full home teamer. And for me, I wanted a team back in Fromberg. And it just got left to the wayside. What we're playing on right now is still better than most Stillwater and Carbon. And I love the due diligence you paid to, like, I mean, that's D1 college ballparks, is what you brought up. And the other aspect part is that we just bring in finely crushed Scorio. It's gonna have to be an eighth or a quarter, and it's eighth or quarter minus, and still supersedes everything in the district, relatively cheap. And I love the idea of, Gretchen, on the FEMA thing, we can kick this can all we want down the road. Like, I mean, so far, goddamn, down the road. Or do we just take that 25,000 and we take 6 of it, revamp it, we throw in some new bleachers, we throw in some infield, and we're off and running and say, we learned our lesson. I mean, I hate to say it, anybody in this room, say one thing FEMA did for you. I can personally say, my house down there, the $786 I got for a fully fucking wrecked house, sorry, I'm speaking freely, but fully wrecked house, $786, I mean, you didn't even cover my water heater. And, I don't know, maybe that's an emotional stance on this, but I say we move on and just get everybody back to where they should be.
I get.
And I apologize, like, for the language and everything, but.
No, Nate,
Me-
and
me too.
I get that, you know, I just wanted
No, I
you
love
guys.
the due diligence.
I wanted
truly
you
did.
guys' take on that, and,
Sure.
and it never hit there. And here's the other, the base anchors were put in this year.
Sure.
The Fromberg